Why 99% of people will miss the next Bitcoin bull run. 99% of people will miss the next Bitcoin bull run, not because they're not smart, not because they don't have money, but because they're wired to think the wrong way. And if you don't change that, you'll be part of that 99%. Right now, most people are waiting. They're waiting for the perfect entry, waiting for confirmation, waiting until everything feels safe and obvious. But here's the reality. The moment Bitcoin feels safe, the biggest opportunity is already gone. And this isn't new. This has happened again and again. Every single cycle follows the same pattern. When Bitcoin is down, nobody wants it. When it's quiet, nobody talks about it. When it crashes, people call it dead. But when it starts rising, suddenly everything changes. News channels start covering it. YouTube fills with Bitcoin predictions. Your friends start talking about it. And that's when most people finally pay attention. But by then, they're already late. This is not just about Bitcoin. This is about human psychology. People don't act based on logic. They act based on emotion. When prices are low, fear is high. When prices are high, confidence is high. So people do the exact opposite of what works. They hesitate when they should act, and they rush in when they should be careful. And Bitcoin exposes this behavior perfectly, because most of the time, Bitcoin is boring. No excitement, no hype, no headlines, just silence. And that silence is uncomfortable. It makes people doubt. It makes them question everything. So they wait. They tell themselves, I'll buy when it starts going up. I'll wait for confirmation. I just need a clear signal. But what they don't understand is that is the trap. Because once Bitcoin starts moving fast, you're no longer early. You're reacting. You're chasing momentum. You're following the crowd. And from that point, you've already lost your advantage. This is how most people become exit liquidity. They buy when others are selling. They enter when smart money is leaving, and they don't even realize it. Now here's where things get deeper. Most people think Bitcoin is about making money. That's the biggest misunderstanding, because when your only focus is profit, you become emotional. You check prices every day. You panic when it drops. You feel greedy when it rises. And those emotions control your decisions. You don't buy when it's low because you're scared. You don't hold when it rises because you want quick gains. You don't sell properly because you expect more. So you end up doing everything backwards. But the people who actually win, they think differently. They don't see Bitcoin as just an investment. They see it as a system that is fundamentally different from the money you use every day. Because here's something most people ignore. Your money is losing value, not suddenly, not dramatically, but consistently. Every year, more money is printed, more enters the system, and as supply increases, value decreases. That's why everything feels more expensive. Food, rent, fuel. It's not just prices going up, it's your money becoming weaker. Now compare that to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a fixed supply, 21 million. No government can increase it. No central authority can control it. It operates on rule, not decisions. And over time, that difference becomes powerful. But most people never take the time to understand this. They stay focused on short-term price. They ask, is this a good entry? Will it drop more? Should I wait a little longer? And while they're thinking, the opportunity passes because the market doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards understanding. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people will never understand Bitcoin early enough, not because it's complicated, but because it goes against everything they've been taught. We've been trained to think in terms of buy low, sell high, maximize profit. But Bitcoin isn't just about that. It requires a different mindset. You have to act when things feel uncertain. You have to stay calm when others panic. You have to think long-term in a short-term world, and that's not easy, so people fall back into pravichat. They follow the crowd, they wait for validation, they look for safety, and that's exactly why they miss the biggest moves, because the early phase of every bull run feels uncertain. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel obvious. It feels confusing. And most people don't act in confusion. They wait. But the people who win, they move before the crowd. They position themselves early. They don't need hype to take action. They understand what they're holding. And that's the key difference. Every bull run has 3 phases. First phase, nobody believes in it. Second phase, some people start paying attention. Final phase, everyone jumps in. And guess where most people enter? At the end. And guess where most people enter? At the end. When prices are already high, when risk is highest, when reward is lowest. And then when the market corrects, they panic, they sell, they lose confidence, they exit, only to repeat the same cycle again. This is why 99% of people miss it. Not because they didn't see it, but because they didn't act at the right time. They were waiting for clarity, waiting for certainty, waiting for the perfect moment. But that moment never comes. Because in markets like this, certainty comes after the move, not before it. So if you're waiting to feel comfortable, you're already setting yourself up to be late. The real advantage comes from understanding early, from seeing what others don't see yet, from acting before it becomes obvious. And once you truly understand Bitcoin, everything changes. You stop obsessing over daily price. You stop trying to time every move. You stop reacting emotionally. Instead, you focus on positioning. You focus on consistency. You focus on the long-term trend. And that's how you stop being part of the 99%. So the real question is not, will Bitcoin go up again? Because history already gives you that answer. The real question is, will you understand it early enough? Or will you wait until everyone else is already in? Because by then, it's not opportunity anymore. It's hype. If you want to stay ahead of the crowd and actually understand Bitcoin before the hype begins, then subscribe. Because most people won't realize what's happening until it's already over.